Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and welcome back to a very hectic Rostermania period indeed. We've got players getting dropped left, right and centre, free agents on the market, and also organisations looking to buy into the CDL. It does indeed seem. Very much intrigued. Your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm ready to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. On the verge now of 70,000 subscribers. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Hopefully we can smash through that milestone here in just a couple of days time. So we're going to dive into a lot of things going down today and try and break down exactly what is going on, because there's a lot of questions right now. Yesterday was August 29th. That was the day, we believe, where teams had to tell their players whether they were going to extend them if they had 1+1 contracts. Teams that or players that had 1+1 contracts that were extended after year one and now just free agents anyway, unrestricted free agents. They can go where they like. But yeah, still plenty of players on the market right now to pick from, with teams in absolute chaos right now. So Methods, he's crossing his fingers, hoping things are going to work out for the best. The first announcement that comes through yesterday was from Los Angeles Grillers. They announced the departure of their entire 2021 roster. Interesting thing is that not only is their entire starting team gone, we did wonder whether they keep like one piece here, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So they're going to build an entirely new roster kind of again, which I suppose makes sense, to be honest, all things considered. A difficult season, like at the end of the day, if you're a bottom 4 team and you didn't make champs, probably you're not going to keep your entire squad. The interesting thing to me is that they also kill their entire, well, don't kill them, but they get rid of them. Their entire academy team, Exceed, Morks, Chino, and Nero Poison, which is kind of a surprise. I thought Nero and maybe Chino could be some pieces, and Morks, to be fair as well, was solid in the challenger side. Like, there could have been some pieces to build around. You'd have thought that maybe the intention would be, especially if you've got an academy squad, at least find like one player that you might think could be a valuable piece going forwards, but apparently not. They're just going to get rid of everyone, and of course, well, they're going to be building once again from the ground up going forwards. Who do they even start to build around? I don't even know. There's so many free agents on the market right now, at least with some players stepping out like this. There's opportunities for some players who were in challengers or maybe getting dropped off other teams to kind of move around a little bit. But LAG have a fair bit of cash behind them. Like, in theory, they should be able to build a solid roster. They just haven't managed it for the last 2 years. So maybe this is the year that will change. aBeZy is still a question mark. I was wondering really in the middle of the season, like, would aBeZy, finally decide to step away from the scene, right? Because of course the last couple of years have been difficult for him, no doubt. Very solid player at times though, and definitely at his moment still this year. But as he says, I want to thank everyone on LAG for everything they've done. And as he says right here, with that being said, I'm an unrestricted free agent, would love to keep competing, whatever format that does indeed revolve around. So cool to see aBeZy still trying to stay around. I think he can still be a valuable piece to a team. It's tough to find solid veteran SMG players that can put up decent numbers from time to time, but it's just going to be tough to get a spot in a league so competitive like this. But with many spots up for sale right now, or at least a couple of spots up for sale, it does seem, as we're going to dive into here in a couple of minutes time, we have, well, kind of a situation where teams are going to completely change how they decide to build their rosters going forwards. Chino in a similar spot, unrestricted free agents. DMs are certainly open, so he's kind of free to go wherever he would like to go if he can get an offer, certainly to do so. On the other side of things, we've got the Royal Ravens also making some moves. They dropped pretty much their entire roster as well. They even dropped their coach in Shane, so Shawnee's gone, Alex is gone, Paul X is gone, Zed is gone, and Shane out of the team as well. That does mean then that 2 pieces of this old squad remain. I'm pretty sure they didn't let go of Dylan yet, even though he doesn't have a Twitter account anymore, so it's tough to say exactly what is going on right there. But Dylan Cod, of course, who was on their team earlier this season, was pretty spectacular, and Black Ops 4 especially was really good. And of course, they're also keeping Afro, right? So it makes sense. Afro stays in the team. The questions around the rest of the squad are very much up in the air, because people are very much expecting Zero to get out there to the States, pair up with Afro, and then that can be a great duo to start with. And then they're thinking, okay, do we bring in Nasty, like Gizmo, Harry, some of the other European talent? But then you've got Dylan also still seemingly on the team that could be there to do something as well. But yes, this entire squad is gone. Could they find an opportunity elsewhere? I feel kind of bad for some of these guys, especially Zed in a way. Like, I feel like he didn't have too much opportunity to make something happen this season. I think, he kind of got brought in and kicked at maybe a time that wasn't necessarily the most appropriate. But anyway, they're out of there. Whether that means challenges for these guys, whether that means CDL action next season, it does, of course, remain to be seen. And Afro seems to be pretty excited about the possibility of, him coming back with maybe a bigger and better squad next season, because he was very much spectacular indeed the last couple of events of the season. No doubt about that one. So Methods also unrestricted free agent from the Toronto Ultra. Wanted to thank Ultra for everything they've helped me do over the last 2 years. Still exploring options with them. They've agreed to let me explore all other options as an unrestricted free agent. Fully believe myself to be a top player in this league. Hope those who tuned into the streams this past year would agree. Time to see what the future holds. As Scump says, no Zinni, no Winnie. And I did think it was kind of entertaining that Methods, despite being a pretty solid player, like when Insight came into the team, Toronto did win a major. Even you could say after the 2018 World Championship, when Methods kind of got removed off OpTic Gaming and then they go into Vegas, they win that event. Even in World War II, earlier in the title, when Methods was on, it was on Rise Nation. elimination, won CDL Atlanta, and then got dropped for Slasher, and then Slasher and Co won the next event. So seems to have into methods a fair bit, but certainly still a player that could very much be in the Pro League, especially with a lot of these squads wiping their rosters and mainly our spots on the table. Diamondcon, another one, unrestricted free agent from the New York Subliners. He's very much up in the air, and of course they're making some moves, it seems, the Subliners guys. What happens there, who really knows? But if players aren't being extended, they will know by now, and it's September the 5th where teams can actually start to make some confirmations on what their rosters are going to be. So a few more days of crazy rumours, I am sure, and discussions behind the scenes, and things that might start getting locked in relatively soon, at least for the squads that know kind of what they're doing. Apparently Seattle have kind of a squad of 4 ready to go when they can officially get the contract signed, but still, things could change. As Simp says, Jesus Christ, we're going to trade. These teams are getting pieced up. There's, of course, pretty much every team right now is in pandemonium with the intention of trying to take down Atlanta FaZe, right? And we saw it with OpTic Chicago, right, making this crazy move, the merger with Dallas Empire. Supposedly, Scump, ILLey, Shotzzy, and Dashy is going to be their team of 4, and no rumours coming out to deny that as of yet, but of course, things that could still change. Boskin, I'm back, #6raven, goes on to delete this. Pretty much bait on the timeline, I do imagine, but still, who knows what happens with Boskin going forwards. Going to be tough for him to get back in the league, though, I'm pretty sure, with the situation that he had this past season. But there are other opportunities on the table for organisations that he could potentially go to, which apparently are getting sold. This comes out from Chrome yesterday. The trademark and patent for Paris Legion has been abandoned quite a while ago now, actually. This is pretty much a dead-on indication that, they're selling their spot out of the league. Not really a surprise. They basically did nothing in COD the last couple of seasons. Is anyone even going to remember Paris Legion in like 5 years' time? Probably not, to be honest. They paid the minimum for their players, didn't really make any content, and, unlucky lads. Shame to see you go, I suppose. This is the full details of the trademark then. So we've got Paris Legion abandoned right here. It was initially filed on October the 19th, or 9th, 2019, and abandoned on July the 5th, 2021. So pretty much, as soon as they were going to be out of the World Championship, they decided to just abandon the patent and sell their spot. Where is their spot going to be sold to? That is the question, because right now there is 2 spots up for grabs. There is not only the spot, the Paris Legion spot, seemingly very much being sold, but also if OpTic do indeed merge with Dallas, as is being rumoured right now, that will mean that the Chicago spot is now opening up. And interestingly enough, there are effectively 2 teams or 2 organisations that are very much discussing and teasing, hinting, to come back to the CDL. So maybe that well does mean that it's going to be E-United and Cloud9 that take those 2 spots. This is something I didn't even notice the other day, right? We looked at this teabags.gg website and we, talking about how they were talking about, growing tea leaves in Paris. Didn't really make too much sense, but maybe indicating a Paris Legion acquisition for United could be a possibility. Even this, though, right here, as Brian points out, creamy, delightful, light, CDL. Like, look, if it's not CDL related, I'd be pretty mind blown right now. Even that, stream less than last night, we've got some Call of Duty stuff on the screen. If they're not coming back to the CDL, this would be the biggest bait fest of all time from not only United but also Cloud9 as well. And there has also been some discussion, as you can see right here, from Arcitys. This is the CDL Scrimtel says, this is effectively him saying yes, United do have the money to buy a CDL spot if they wanted to. They have the backing to make it happen, and this would be fantastic to see. The fact of the matter is, Paris Legion, how many fans do they really have? It's going to be difficult to mourn that organisation. If United come in, and if the Chicago spot is bought out by a Cloud9, for example, then all of a sudden we've got some very interesting organisations back in the CDL. Some teams that people are going to be rooting for, some teams that have done some things before in Call of Duty to great effect, and probably know what they're doing in terms of building rosters and getting some talent on that can general manage a team and coach and analyse a team, and also make a great team as well from the players themselves. So definitely some very exciting things happening going forwards. Of course, we get Cloud9 in replies right here. Again, another situation where I'm like, look, if Cloud9 and United themselves aren't coming into this league, how much bait do they possibly want to dish out? Because in the replies, Cloud9 are like, damn, what's going on here? I think Crow's coming in the replies as well, follow for follow, as maybe Cloud9 look to make their return to the COD team. They were in the COD scene a few years ago. Infinite Warfare, I'm pretty sure, was their last outing, and from franchising, they never bought in. But they were one of these organisations that have been in COD in the past that we kind of thought, okay, look, let's just see if franchising goes well, which you could argue due to the pandemic, it's not necessarily been ideal, but maybe they're still kind of down to give it a go. There could be some other big organisations, Cloud9, TSM, these types of teams that have been in COD in the past that might consider a return at some point, maybe with expansion or maybe with slots coming up on the table. So seems like 2 slots are up for grabs. TacticalRabs, and that maybe United and Cloud9 will be the ones to slot in there. Another organisation, of course, has been Heretics, which I think we would love to see come in as expansion, and that would make perfect sense, right? I'm pretty sure like Paris Legion was one of the first trademarks to be kind of locked in back in whenever it was 2019, and then the CDL effectively chose the London spot over having like a Heretic spot in Madrid or something like that, and we haven't seen much like teasing from Heretics themselves about this potentially happening, so maybe that'll only happen with expansion when that does come in, hopefully next season, but still, at least there's some sort of switch-ups going on that keep things entertaining for us as fans going forward, no doubt about it. Wanted to mention this as well. There was some talk a few days ago about exactly what happens, well, yesterday really, between OpTic and Dallas. Like, to me, if they're going to call the team something, it's got to be OpTic Dallas. Hex is not going to allow it not to be OpTic at the start. Like, that's how things go. It's always OpTic and something about that, OpTic like X, effectively. And, well, Dallas is obviously the city they're in, so they've got to have the city in their name somewhere, so OpTic Dallas is by far the most likely name, in my opinion, if this does indeed happen. Therefore, you've got to decide what the logo is going to be. This I thought was a pretty decent one, to be honest, bringing in the star from their logo and then kind of combining that with OG, but who knows what they'll do. It's this is one of the cleaner versions I've seen of some of the attempts that people might have to try and combine those brandings, but it's something I'm sure they're trying to work on behind the scenes if they are to try and get this across the line, and the CDL is going to approve it, which may or may not happen. This from Crone, just to finish off the video. These are the officially announced roster moves so far. So many questions about where these players go, like what happens with these rosters going forwards, who confirms on September the 5th, who takes a bit longer to do so, like do even these organizations exist next year, right? What happens with Paris, what happens with this Chicago spot, but right now, Seattle wiped their whole squad. Paris, same thing over there. Gorillas, same thing over there. London, nearly enough, they wiped their entire team. Chicago, Envoy is a free agent, Formula is retired. Dallas, Crimsix is a restricted free agent, so is Vivid. Thieves, TJ's a free agent, and New York, Coach Revan is a free agent, and since then, DiamondCon also add him to that list. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube record. I know you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.